Okay, before we start with the 89th question, we are working to increase our subscribers. In case you haven't subscribed, do click on the subscribe button right now. And if you're finding it meaningful or useful, these videos, do like and share with your friends as well. All right, so let's start with the 89th question now. Two numbers A and B are inversely proportional to each other. If A increases by 100%, then B decreases by how much, right? Like a proportional question over here, right? How do we represent this in terms of an equation? A and B are inversely proportional. So A equals K by B. We've seen this in the ratio and proportions lesson, right? The proportion variation lesson. So K over here is a constant. So take B to the other side. A into B equals K. Now, once again, everything is given in relative terms. It's all percentages. Answer options are also percentages. So just plug in some values over here, right, and get done with it, and that's it. So let us say 4 into 2 equals 8, right? 8 is going to remain as it is. If A increases by 100%, right? If A increases by 100%, it's nothing but it's getting doubled over here. So 4 is becoming 8, right? 8 into what is going to give us 8 over here? 8 into 1 is going to give us 8. That's it. So if A is going to get doubled, that is A increases by 100%, then B over here from 2 is becoming 1, right? It's reducing by 1. What's the impact? What's the reduction for B? That is 1 divided by the old value 2 into 100%. If you want to write it in the strict percentage sense and find it to be 50%. Otherwise, you know that it's halved, right? It's halved, so it's reduced by 50%. Mark option 5 and keep moving. On to question 90. Shyam, Gopal and Madhur are three partners in a business. Their capitals are respectively rupees 4,000, 8,000, 6,000. Okay. Shyam gets 20% of the total profit for managing the business. The remaining profit is divided in the ratio of their capitals. So all the capital has been brought in at the same time. So 4, 8 and 6. 4 is to 8 is to 6. What's the ratio? If you divide by another 2, you're going to get 2 is to 4 is to 3. So S, G and M, the ratio of the capital 4,000, 8,000, 6,000 is 2 is to 4 is to 3. Shyam gets 20% of the total profit for managing the business. So for Shyam, I'm going to first give 1/5, right? Okay, let me write it this way. So 1/5 of the profit first comes to Shyam. Then the remaining 4/5 I have to divide in this ratio, right? 20%, the remaining 80%, write it as a fraction. Now 2 is to 4 is to 3. The total over here is how many parts? Total is 9 parts. So the profit should be divisible by 9 so that I can divide it this way. The profit should also be divisible by 5 so that I can find 1/5 and it's an integer, right? The best way to go about is going to be to use the index method in terms of parts, because what's given over here in the question, at the end of the year, the profit of Shyam is 2,200 less than some of the profits of Gopal and Madhur, right? So let me find the combined ratio, right, for which let's assume the total profit to be a certain number of parts. What is that parts going to be? I want it to be divisible by 9 and I want it to be divisible by 5 as well. So 5 into 9, right? That's the LCM, 45. So let the profit over here be 45, right? Of this 45, how much am I going to give Shyam first? Shyam is first going to receive 20%, 1/5. 1/5 of 45, right? 45 into 1 by 5 comes to 9. That's the share in the that's the share in the profit for managing the business, right? That's for the managing. And then the profits are then going to be distributed. What's the remaining profit after 9 is given out from the total? 9 is off, right? 45 minus 9, the remaining 36 has to be divided in the ratio of 2 is to 4 is to 3, right? So 2 is to 4 is to 3 for 36 is going to be what? Total is 9. 9 parts is 36. 1 part is 4. 4 into 2 is going to be 8. 4 into 4 is 16. 4 into 3 is 12. You add this up and you get 36. That's it. So of the 45, Shyam gets 9 for managing and 8 from the profit share. So total is going to come to 17, just 16 over here, no managing, and 12 over here. 17 is to 16 is to 12, right? Let me just write it down over here. That's going to be the final ratio split, which takes into consideration the fact that, for managing the 20% is off and then the rest is the profit share. Fine. So what's given here is Shyam is receiving 2,200 less than the sum of the profit of G and M. So G plus M minus S is going to be what? 16 plus 12, 28 minus 17, that's 11, right? 11 parts is actually 2,200, right? How did I get 2200 from 11? If I multiply it with 200. What's asked here? How much profit Madhur will get? Madhur over here with 12 parts is going to receive 12 into 200, right? Same proportion. 12 into 200, 2400, and we are done. Option 2 over here becomes the answer. Another one of those questions where we don't use a variable, just work with ratios, plain simple, and get the answer. A sum of rupees 1400 is divided amongst A, B, C, and D, such that A's share is to B's share, okay, A by B, equals B share is to C share, okay, B by C. This is like continued proportion, right? Continued proportion, we've seen that. And what do we know in continued proportion? If A, B, C, D are in continued proportion, then they are nothing but in geometric progression, right? Geometric progression means A, AR, AR square, AR cube, right? These can be your A, B, C, and D, right? So what is A by B over here? That's nothing but A by AR. This is AR by AR square. Everywhere you're getting 1 by R, right? You're getting 1 by R equals 3 by 4. So R is equal to 4 by 3. So A into 4 by 3, A into 4 by 3 whole square, and 4 by 3 whole cube, right? Whole cube. Now, how do we proceed and how do we link it up? Right, we need to link up all the ratios over here because the total is given as 1400. The best way to go about is to assume a value, right? Assume a value. What do I take as the value of A such that AR cube is still going to be an integer? AR cube is going to be 4 by 3 whole cube in the denominator, right? 3 cube in the denominator, 27 is what I want. So if A over here is going to be 27, right? Assume a value. Then AR over here is 27 into 4 by 3. And 27 into 4 by 3. Let me just do it over here. This is going to be what? 9 4s are 36. Next, 36 into 4 by 3. At this stage, a lot of you should be able to mentally do it. Take 1/3 and add it, right? 1/3 of this is 12, add it. 1/3 is 16, add that and you get 64, right? These are your 4 values. So these could be your 4 values. 27 is to 36 is to 48 is to 64. Right? These could be a possible set of values, right? And if they are the case, it is the case, then the total over here is coming to 64 plus 36, right? I would want to add B and D first. That comes to 100. 48 plus 27 is coming to 75, 175. If this 175 is actually a total of 1400, right? This is coming to 1400. Then how much is C's share? C's share is what I have to find. 175 into 2 is 350, okay, 350 into 2 is 700 and another into 2 and we get 1400, so into 8, right? 175 into 8 is coming to this, so do the same over here. 48 into 8, 50 into 8 is 400, 2 into 8 is 16, 400 minus 16 comes to 384. Option 4 is the answer for this question. The Howrah-Puri Express can move at 45 kilometers per hour without its rake, okay? And the speed is diminished by a constant that varies as the square root of the number of wagons attached. So the diminishing part, right? The speed is usually 45, okay? Now the speed is going to reduce, right? Speed is going to be 45 minus some diminishing is happening over here, the actual speed, right? Actual speed over here is going to be 45 minus D. This diminishing, by how much it's reducing, is going to be varying as the square root of the number of wagons attached, okay? If it is known that 9 wagons, right, with 9 wagons, the speed is 30 kilometers per hour. So if the actual speed was 30, what was the diminishing over here? 45 to 30. If from 45 you have reduced to 30, right, the diminishing part was 15, right? So this is diminishing, it has reduced by 15, right? That's what it's speaking about. The reduction over here, right? Be clear with this. The usual speed is 45 kilometers per hour without a rake, right? Without any wagons being attached over there. The speed is diminishing, right? The D refers to how much I have to subtract from 45, right? If the actual speed is 30, then the diminishing, it has reduced by 15. So that 15 over here is equal to, I can write K into root of number of wagons, right? So this could have been written as D equals K root W. We've seen that in the proportion variation lesson. So 15 equals K into root of wagons, and root of number of wagons is 9 over here, right? So I'll write that clearly. And what is root 9? Root 9 is 3. And 3 over here, if you divide, you get a 5, and K equals 5. The constant is 5. Now, what is the greatest number of wagons with which the train can just move, just about move. Okay. To find that exact value, what we can look at is when is it not going to move, right? No movement, right? No movement at d equals how much? When d is going to be equal to 45. If it is diminished by 45, 45 minus 45 is 0, then there is no movement, speed is 0, right? So if d is going to be 45, let's try that out. If d is going to be 45 over here, d equals k root w, right? D is 45 equals k, I know is 5 root w, right? You can divide over here, you get 9. So root w equals 9 and w equals 81. So if there are 81 wagons, the train is not going to move. If the train should just be able to move, 81 wagons is too much, reduce one of them. Remove one of the wagons, the train will just about be able to move. Option 3 becomes the answer. Just logically think about it. As you increase the wagons, you're going to reduce the speed. It's going to decrease and decrease and decrease till it reaches a point where it just does not move. When does it not move? When there are 81 wagons, right? When there are 81 wagons, it's not moving. I want it to move. Just reduce it by 1. It'll just about move. You don't need an integer. It can be a square root, can be an irrational number. It doesn't matter. But it's going to move. So therefore, option 3, 80 becomes the answer here. On to question 93. The duration of the journey from your home to the college in the local train varies directly as the distance and inversely as the velocity. Okay, the duration of the journey refers to time, varies directly as the distance, okay, and inversely divided by velocity, right? Inversely is the velocity. The velocity varies directly as the, okay, V varies directly as the square root of the diesel used per kilometer, okay, and inversely is the number of carriages in the train. Okay, what is given to us over here? The journey of 70 kilometers in, okay, should be a comma here. So in 45 minutes with 15 carriages, okay, they're giving me number of carriages. They're giving me the time, which is good. They're giving me the distance, good. 10 liters of diesel. They're giving me the liters required, right? Liters of diesel required. But velocity over here is varying directly with the square root of the diesel used per kilometer. So not with the quantity of diesel, it is quantity of diesel used per kilometer. So that is this quantity, right? Root of this quantity divided by the total distance covered. 10 liters for 70, root of 10 by 70, right? So that's what is there. So therefore, how do we build this in? The velocity varies directly as the square root of, right? Let me write it down, square root of diesel used per kilometer. The diesel used over here, let's write that down as a quantity divided by the kilometers covered, right? Q by D, root of Q by D, okay? And it continues, and inversely, right? Velocity is also varying inversely, right? Into 1 by, inversely is the number of carriages in the train, and that is given to us. I can just write that as C, number of carriages, okay? Into 1 by C. Fine. So we have T varies with D by V, and V over here is proportional to this. And how do we merge these two? We've seen this in the proportion variation lesson. At mockat.com, we just need to substitute this V, this portion over here. We don't need to write it in terms of K. Two different constants are not required. Just plug this part in over here in the denominator, right? So what are we going to get? T is proportional to D, okay, divided by, what's it going to be? Root Q by root D into 1 by C, okay? And now I can remove the proportionality. I'll just write it down over here for space purpose. T equals, and I can bring in a K, right? I can always replace the proportionality symbol over here with equal to K into D divided by root Q is going to be sitting over here, and root D goes up, and so does C. That's it. The time taken is going to be equal to K into D root D into C by root Q. Now coming back to the question, if in a journey of 70 kilometers, okay, in 45 minutes with 15 carriages, 45 minutes over here, T, I'll write it down, 45 equals K into 70 kilometers, 70 root 70, okay, and 15 carriages into 15 divided by, okay, root Q. Q is what? Quantity of diesel, that's there, root 10, that's it. So the 0 gets cancelled over here, root 10 over here. Okay, so 45 and 15 we can simplify, we can write it as 3, and k over here is going to become, k is what? 3 divided by 70 root 7. Okay, we have this, and what do we have? Usually these questions follow up with one more set of information. They ask us to find something. Then the diesel that will be consumed is going to be the Q. Okay, in a journey of 50 kilometers, half an hour, 30 minutes, 18 carriages. So time is going to be 30 this time around. K I know is 3 divided by 70 root 7 into the distance is 50. So 50 root 50. 18 carriages into C over here is 18. Okay, divided by root Q. That's it. We just need to solve for Q right now. Looks difficult, but it's definitely doable, right? So 0 is knocked off here. So we are at 10. Okay, and 10 you can further divide with a 5 here and a 2 here, and you get 9. So take the root Q there. Root Q equals 9 root 50 divided by 7 root 7. So Q over here is going to be, Q is nothing but the square of this. 9 square is 81 into root 50 square is 50 divided by 7 square is 49 into 7. 49 50 are close to each other. The options are far apart, but none of the above is there. So we have to see if there's something which is close to one of the options, right? That's the problem with an exam around then, with IFT back in the day. But nowadays, the good news for you people is none of the above is pretty much removed from CAD-ZAT and all of that. You don't have these anymore, right? As an option. Seldom does it turn up, right? So we can be reasonably confident with these kind of questions. So 81 by 7 is going to be what? 7 11s are 77, and then a 11 4 by 7, right? 11 4 by 7, but 50 by 49 I just cancelled. It's a little more, 1 point something. So 11 4 by 7, and I add another 2% to it or something like that, probably close to 11 5 by 7, 11 6 by 7. Closest is option 2. Option 2, 11.8 liters is the answer here. Ravindra and Rekha got married 10 years ago. Their ages were in the ratio of 5:4. Fine. Today Ravindра's age is 1/6 more than that of Rekha. Okay, so Ravi and Rekha. 5:4, that is P minus 10. So 5x, 4x. Present is going to be 5x plus 10 and 4x plus 10. Now their present age of Ravi is 1/6 more. If Rekha's is 6 parts, Ravi 1/6 more is 7 parts. So the ratio Ravi to Rekha is going to be 7:6, 7 by 6. Right? So quickly get that. You should be able to form this. 5x plus 10 divided by 4x plus 10 equals 7 by 6, 1/6 more than this, right? Just cross multiply, and you get 30x plus 60 equals 7 to 4, 28x plus 70, 2x equals 10, x equals 5. That's it. So x equals 5. So we know Ravi and Rekha's present ages. What are they going to be? Present age is going to be 5 into 5, 25 plus 10. That's 35 here for Ravi, and Rekha over here is going to be 4 into 5, 20 plus 10, which comes to 30. Fine. Now, after marriage, they had 6 children, including a triplet and twins. The age of the triplets, twins, and the 6th child is in the ratio 3:2:1. What is the largest possible value of the present total age of the family? So if I have to add up all the ages of all the members of the family, and it has to be the maximum possible. I know Ravi and Rekha are fixed at 35, 30. I have to maximize the ages of these children over here, 3:2:1. All right, 3:2:1 for the triplets, twins, and 6th child. So the total of 6 children over here with these ages. We need to remember that. So what is the maximum possible age I can give for the triplets, the highest over here? We need to remember that they got married 10 years ago. They haven't explicitly mentioned, but you need to understand that they had these kids after their marriage, right? So therefore, what is the max I can give? They can't exceed 10 years, right? A 3 multiple, I should look for, it doesn't say that, they have to be integers either. but that is something you have to logically conclude, I guess, given that the options are here. So assuming that, not assuming, understanding that it's implied that these have to be integers, their ages, and a 3 multiple which is less than 10, right, is 9, right? So 9 is the largest 3 multiple less than 10 years. 9 can be the age of the oldest children, right? Who are the triplets? So if 9 is 3 parts, 2 parts is 6, the twins, and the sixth child over here is just 3 years old, right? 9, 6 and 3 can be the ages of the triplets, twins, and the single child, the sixth child. Okay, if there are 3 kids, right, the triplets, each of them are 9 years old, 3 kids are there, 9 into 3, 27 we are getting over here is the sum total of the ages of the triplets. What about the twins? 2 of them are 6 years old, so we get 12, and the sixth child, one child over here who's 3 years old. So 27 plus 12 plus 3 is giving us 30 plus 12, 42 as the sum of the ages of the children. So what's the present total age of the family? 35 plus 30, Ravi and Rekha's ages come to 65, plus 42, the sum of ages of the children, maximum possible, and total comes to 107. Option 4 therefore becomes the answer here. Question 95. Two numbers are such that their difference, their sum, and their product are to one another as 1 is to 7 is to 24. We can start with the difference in the sum first, right? Remember this, a minus b and a plus b, right? Just look to quickly solve it this way. 1 is to 7. Sum of two integers is 7, difference is 1, right? Try to do it that way. A plus b and you solve for it and you get 4 and 3 again, right? So look to do this if you can, and if this quickly strikes, right? These exams are about speed as well. Once you quickly get that a is to b over here is 4 is to 3. Now they're saying the product over here is 24, right? So something different. So take 4x and 3x over here, right? A and b, let them be 4x and 3x. Then what is the difference? That's x. What's the sum? That's 7x. Then what is the product going to be? X is to 7x is 1 is to 7. This is going to be, going by this logic, it's going to be 24x, right? 1 is to 7 is to 24. The difference is to sum is to product, right? Now we also know if a and b are actual terms are going to be 4x and 3x, the product can be also written as AB can also be written as 4x into 3x, 4x into 3x, but in a ratio format, it's been given to us as 1 to 7 is 24. So 24x is another value we are getting over here, right? Direct multiplication gives me 12x square, but in terms of the ratio given to me, it's 24x. That's it. Simplify, 4 into 3 is 12, and you get x equals 2. Now that we found the value of x, we know the actual values of a and b are a equals 4x, 4 2s are 8, and b equals 3x, 6. We need to find the product of the two numbers, ab over here, which comes to 48. Or when you had found 2, you could have just directly gone and substituted over here. You would have gotten 24 into 2, 48, right, as the product. On to question 96. M by n equals 4 by 3 and r by t equals 9 by 14, then the value of 3mr minus nt by 4nt minus 7mr, and we don't have none of these or cannot be determined, all of that, right? In questions like these where you have variables with some ratios given and you need to find the value of a certain expression with only an answer that is a real number for sure, just plug in the sets of values which are possible. M equals 4, n equals 3. You can just plug in, right? M is 4, n is 3, r is 9, and t is 14, right? That's one way to proceed. 3 into 4 into 9, which comes to 108 there, right? Minus 3 into 14 over here is 42, divided by 4 into n into t, 4 into 3 into 14, right, becomes a little difficult, but still doable. 12 into 14 is 168, right, minus 7mr, 7 into 4 into 9, 7 9s are 63, 63 into 4 is going to come to 252, right? And what do we get over here? Minus, 60, 6 divided by, if you subtract this, you get a 32 plus 250, this was a plus, right? And the bottom is minus. 32 plus 52, which comes to 84, right? What are they divisible by? Just a 2. So we get minus 33 divided by 42, but it's also divisible by a 3 now, minus 11 by 14, and we get the answer is option 2, right? Now, this is one way to do it, and is this the approach which is the best? No, and actually in school we would have done something else to prove this as well, right? We wouldn't have been given options like this. We would have been asked to find the certain value. Or there as well, you could have plugged it in, but they would have asked us to do it in a certain way, right? And what would that have been? It's dividing these by the denominator. See, m by n and r by t we have. Every one of these are a combination of either the numerator, product of the numerator, or the denominator, mr or nt, everywhere. So therefore, if I'm going to divide this by nt in the numerator and divide this by nt in the denominator as well. So what are we getting? 3 mr by nt minus nt by nt is 1 divided by 4 nt by nt. If I'm going to divide this by nt, it's going to be 1 itself minus 7 mr by nt. Now, mr by nt is the same in both places, and it's easy for me to find. I just need to multiply these two. M by n into r by t, right? What is that going to be? mr by nt is m by n 4 by 3 into n by r by t, which is 9 by 14. Now we can simplify over here and write this as 6 by 7. So if this strikes for you, the calculation is going to be a lot less, right? So 3 into 6 by 7 is 18 by 7 minus 1 divided by 4 minus 7 into 6 by 7. 7 into 6 by 7, 7 are cancelled, we get 6 itself. 18 minus 1 is 11 divided by 7, right, into what is 4 minus 6? Minus 2, which is minus 11 by 14. We get the same answer over here as well. This I would say would be the preferred method, right? So if you're able to divide, the amount of calculations over here is a lot less.